When someone ignores you, it strikes a chord deep in your heart. The silence feels deafening. You begin to question your worth, replaying every interaction in your mind. But what if I told you that this pain, this discomfort, is not just a wound, but also a sign pointing toward growth, clarity, and self-discovery? The human connection is messy, vulnerable, and sometimes painful, but within that pain lies an invitation to examine our hearts and the relationships we cultivate. When someone ignores you, the immediate reaction is often confusion, frustration, or even self-doubt. You might find yourself wondering, what did I do wrong? Or why won't they just talk to me? But here's the thing, silence isn't empty, it's full of meaning. When words are absent, the unspoken truths begin to emerge. Silence has a way of cutting through the noise, forcing you to confront what might have been hidden all along. Sometimes their silence isn't about you at all. It could be rooted in their own struggles, their inability to communicate effectively, or even their discomfort with vulnerability. People often ignore others not because they lack love or respect, but because they lack the tools or courage to face the situation head on. It's important to recognize that their silence is often a reflection of their inner state, not a reflection of your worth. On the other hand, silence can also reveal the cracks in a relationship that you may have overlooked. Ask yourself, has this person been pulling away for a while? Are they communicating a lack of interest or investment in the relationship through their actions or lack thereof? Sometimes we ignore red flags because we're so eager to preserve a connection. Silence, though painful, has a way of making those flags impossible to ignore. This is where self-awareness becomes critical. Take a step back and ask yourself deeper questions. Am I in a relationship where I feel seen, valued, and respected? Am I putting in more effort than the other person, hoping they will reciprocate someday? Have I allowed this dynamic to persist because I've been afraid to face the truth? Silence demands that you confront these uncomfortable realities. It strips away the facade and leaves you with nothing but the truth of what's really happening. This is an invitation not to chase after the person ignoring you, but to listen closely to what the silence is teaching you. It's also important to acknowledge how this silence affects you emotionally. It might trigger feelings of abandonment or rejection, especially if you've experienced these wounds in the past. Recognize that this reaction is valid, it's human to want connection and clarity. But instead of spiraling into self-doubt or anxiety, use this as an opportunity to reflect. Why does this person's silence affect me so deeply? What am I hoping to hear from them that I can't give to myself? Silence may hurt, but it's also a tool for revelation. It forces you to pause and pay attention. It reveals not only the state of the relationship, but also your own needs, insecurities, and boundaries. Instead of fearing silence, start seeing it as a mirror. It reflects not just the other person's actions, but your own patterns and expectations as well. Ultimately, silence is a signpost. It either points toward a need for deeper communication and healing in the relationship, or it signals the need to let go and move on. Either way, it offers clarity if you're willing to listen to what it's trying to say. Pain has a way of demanding our attention. When someone ignores you, the sting of that rejection often feels unbearable. But pain, as difficult as it is to experience, is not random. It's a signal, a messenger with a purpose. It's pointing to something deeper within you, a core value that has been threatened or unmet. If you lean into the discomfort instead of running from it, you'll discover that pain is a map, showing you what truly matters in your life. Consider this: when someone ignores you, why does it hurt? It hurts because you value connection, you value being seen, being heard, and being respected. That pain reveals how important relationships are to you and how much weight you place on mutual care and acknowledgement. Now, let's go deeper. Ask yourself what specifically about this situation is causing me pain. Is it the feeling of being unimportant? Is it the lack of communication? Is it the absence of respect or care? Each layer of the hurt you uncover points you closer to your values. These values might include authenticity. You want relationships where people are honest and direct with you, even when it's difficult. Mutual respect. You need relationships that are balanced, where effort, care, and appreciation flow both ways. Belonging. You desire to feel included, accepted, and cherished for who you are. Pain forces us to examine these values because it highlights where they are not being honored. And while it's tempting to blame the other person for failing to meet your expectations, the real growth happens when you shift the focus inward. Pain invites you to ask yourself, am I giving my time and energy to relationships that reflect my values? Am I setting boundaries that protect what matters most to me? Am I staying true to myself, or am I compromising my values in an effort to maintain this connection? This is where pain becomes a teacher. Instead of allowing the hurt to spiral into resentment or self-doubt, use it as a guide to recalibrate your life. Let's say, for example, you realize that being ignored feels like a violation of your value for respect. What can you do with that realization? You can start by setting clearer boundaries in your relationships. You can decide that you will no longer pursue connections with people who consistently disregard your feelings or fail to communicate honestly. On the other hand, pain might reveal areas where you've neglected yourself. Perhaps you've placed so much importance on being seen and validated by others that you've forgotten to validate yourself. This is an opportunity to turn inward and ask, am I honoring my own value? Am I showing up for myself the way I want others to show up for me? Pain also gives you clarity about what you should prioritize in your life. It's easy to get caught up in relationships or situations that don't align with your values simply because they're familiar or convenient. But when pain arises, it's like a flashing light on the dashboard of your life saying, something here isn't right. It's a wake-up call to step back, assess the situation, and make choices that align more closely with your values. Let's not underestimate the courage it takes to examine pain. It's far easier to ignore it, distract yourself, or blame someone else for it. But when you choose to face your pain with curiosity and compassion, you unlock its power to transform you. You begin to see that the very things that hurt you most are the same things that hold the keys to your growth and authenticity. Remember, this pain is not the enemy. It's an invitation to learn, to grow, and to align more fully with your true self. The next time you feel the sting of being ignored, don't suppress it or push it away. Sit with it. Ask it questions. Follow the trail it's pointing toward. Because at the end of that trail, you'll find a deeper understanding of your values, and with that understanding comes the freedom to build a life and relationships that truly honor who you are. Pain, when faced with courage and curiosity, becomes a map. And the destination is a life lived with greater clarity, authenticity, and purpose. There's a powerful, often overlooked truth when it comes to disconnection sometimes. Being distanced from others is precisely the call you need to reconnect with yourself. The pain of being ignored can feel like a deep ache, an emotional loneliness that echoes in the silence. Yet, in the stillness of that disconnection, a deeper invitation waits for you, a chance to return to your own heart, to rediscover your sense of self, and to honor the relationship you have with your own soul. When someone ignores you, it often feels like a form of rejection. It stirs up old wounds, brings up insecurities, and sometimes even makes you question your worth. But within this experience of rejection lies a powerful opportunity for growth. The space created by disconnection is not a void, it is fertile ground for self-reflection and self-healing. Disconnection is a reminder that the most important relationship you have is with yourself. It's easy to get lost in the dynamics of others seeking their approval, their validation, and their attention. It's tempting to define your worth by how much someone else notices or appreciates you, but when that connection is cut off, it can feel disorienting, like a thread has been severed, leaving you adrift. Yet this very moment of disconnection is a divine invitation to stop looking outward for affirmation and begin looking inward. You see, when someone ignores you, it's an opportunity to stop and reflect, what do I need to feel complete and whole? Regardless of what others are doing or saying, it's a call to tune into your own feelings, desires, and dreams, independent of anyone else's expectations. Disconnection forces you to face yourself in a raw, unfiltered way. You may be tempted to chase after their attention, to beg for their return, but in doing so, you're missing the point of the silence. It's time to come back to yourself. Instead of reacting with anger, frustration, or desperation, use this time to reconnect with the things that bring you peace, joy, and fulfillment. Revisit the hobbies and passions you may have neglected. Take long walks, spend time in nature, or immerse yourself in a book that feeds your soul. When you allow yourself to focus on your own needs and desires, you begin to heal the wounds of disconnection. The more you nurture this inner connection, the less dependent you become on external validation. You begin to realize that your worth was never tied to someone else's attention in the first place. Disconnection, in this sense, is a powerful teacher. It teaches you how to be your own anchor, to stand firm in your own sense of self-worth, even when the world around you may feel unstable. It reminds you that you are complete, whole, and worthy, regardless of the actions of others. The more you practice this self-awareness, the stronger your inner foundation becomes. You learn how to be emotionally self-sufficient, to cultivate peace and happiness from within. This process doesn't mean you should avoid relationships or cut yourself off from others. Rather, it's about learning to find balance. You must come to understand that your sense of self does not hinge on the approval or attention of others. The more you cultivate a strong sense of self, the healthier your relationships will become. You no longer seek validation from others because you already know your value. Instead, you enter relationships as a whole person, capable of loving and being loved without losing yourself in the process. In the midst of disconnection, ask yourself, what part of me have I been neglecting? What is my heart calling me to rediscover? This is a sacred time to listen deeply to your own needs and desires, free from the influence or distraction of others. Rediscover the things that light you up, the dreams that have been buried under the weight of your daily responsibilities. Whether it's the simple joy of painting, dancing, writing, or simply taking time to rest, these moments of reconnection with yourself are powerful acts of self-love. Ultimately, disconnection is a powerful opportunity for growth. It is not a punishment, but a gentle reminder that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. The more you embrace the invitation to come back to yourself, the more your life becomes a reflection of your inner peace, your authenticity, and your true value. So the next time someone ignores you, instead of chasing after them, take a step inward. Use the space created by disconnection as a chance to heal, to reflect, and to reconnect with the truth of who you are. In doing so, you will not only grow stronger within yourself, but you will also cultivate the kind of love and respect that can only come from someone who is deeply in tune with their own worth. Disconnection is not the end of a relationship, it is the beginning of a deeper relationship with yourself. When someone ignores you, the instinct is often to close yourself off, to harden your heart, and to build walls as a defense mechanism. The fear of being hurt again can prompt you to retreat into a shell of protection, convincing yourself that the less you expose, the less you can be rejected. But this response, though understandable, misses a crucial truth. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it is the very strength that you need to navigate the pain of disconnection and rise stronger from it. Vulnerability is the courage to expose yourself emotionally, to show up as your true, authentic self, even when you fear judgment, rejection, or hurt. It means opening your heart and mind without knowing what the outcome will be. In the face of someone's silence or disinterest, vulnerability allows you to acknowledge the pain without letting it define you. It offers a space where you can feel the hurt, process it, and move through it rather than shutting down or ignoring the emotions altogether. What makes vulnerability so powerful is its ability to connect us to our true strength. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we are affirming that our emotions, our needs, and our experiences are valid, no matter how others may respond. It's about having the courage to say, this is who I am, this is what I feel, and it's okay to show that. In the context of being ignored, vulnerability means acknowledging the pain of the moment and giving yourself permission to feel it deeply. But importantly, it also means choosing to move through that pain with openness rather than retreating into a hardened shell. Vulnerability is strength because it takes far more courage to be open, to expose your heart, and to let others see you in your rawness than it does to build walls of defense. When someone ignores you, the temptation is often to become defensive or to shut down emotionally. But this only perpetuates the cycle of pain. Vulnerability, however, allows you to break that cycle. It empowers you to stay open, to hold space for your emotions, and to choose how to respond from a place of authenticity rather than reactivity. By embracing vulnerability, you tap into your inner resilience. You learn that no matter what others do, you are capable of standing strong in your own truth. Vulnerability gives you the freedom to speak your truth, even if it's uncomfortable. It allows you to express how being ignored makes you feel without blaming or accusing the other person, but simply sharing your experience. In doing so, you create the potential for connection, understanding, and healing. There is also profound healing in the act of allowing yourself to be vulnerable with yourself. Often we are so focused on how others perceive us or how others treat us that we forget the importance of treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding. Vulnerability teaches you to hold space for your own feelings, to be compassionate with yourself, and to honor your emotional experience without judgment. You do not need to hide from your own feelings, even if they are painful or uncomfortable. Vulnerability invites you to see your emotions as a natural part of your human experience, rather than something to be fixed or avoided. Furthermore, vulnerability is a key ingredient for deepening relationships. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you give others permission to do the same. You create an environment where trust can flourish and where authentic, meaningful connections can take root. Vulnerability is not about showing your weakness, it's about showing your humanness. It's about saying, I am not perfect, but I am worthy of love, acceptance, and understanding, just as I am. When someone ignores you, it may feel like a rejection of who you are, but vulnerability teaches you to respond with self-compassion, understanding that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth. It gives you the strength to continue being yourself, to stand firm in your own truth, and to remain open to love and connection, even in the face of disconnection. The strength of vulnerability lies in its ability to break down barriers, both the ones between you and others and the ones within yourself. When you embrace vulnerability, you stop seeking validation from the outside world and begin to cultivate self-validation. You acknowledge your own worth and importance, regardless of the actions or indifference of others. In this way, vulnerability leads to a deeper sense of empowerment. You realize that you are enough as you are, regardless of whether or not someone acknowledges you. When we embrace vulnerability, we also begin to redefine strength. We realize that true strength does not lie in hiding our emotions or pretending to be invulnerable. True strength lies in the willingness to be open, to express our feelings, to ask for what we need, and to continue to show up for ourselves and others, even when it's hard.